2, 1. Recording with the great. Oh, I really like your shirt. I didn't even
Oh,
notice
thank
that
you
till
for
now.
the season.
That's beautiful. I love it. Miss
Thank
Clare
you.
Lopez, 20-year CIA veteran, been on here a million times, and we'll have a million more. And I sent that link to Don the Pleb and another friend this morning of you on that show where it was they had to have a translator. What was it? Is it Japan?
Oh, that
China?
was with the Chinese
Yeah.
media outlet. It's called Luda
Yeah.
Luda Media, LUDE Media.
Yeah. And then the other link with the other guy, and I was like, oh, Claire's getting on more shows. And yeah, but I looked at it and I was like, what the hell is this? And it's just all like the Chinese characters movie. And I was like,
It's in Mandarin, right, because it broadcasts to a Mandarin speaking audience here in the States. But also the very cool thing about that program is that he's got listeners inside of Taiwan and mainland China. And we know that because during the program they had Q&A. You probably heard some of the questions coming through online, and those questions were coming from inside China.
oh shit.
I thought that was the coolest thing of all.
Guerrilla radio. Oh man, I was gonna say there's no way that would be sanctioned, because I was like, how the hell would they let
They are figuring, I mean, Chinese are pretty smart people.
Oh
and
yeah,
they're figuring ways to get around the jamming or the
great
censorship. Yeah, they were tuning in.
So with that, man, I want to try to get that guy on. With that, a lot of things happening. I'm not sure what we want to focus on today. We have vaccine mandates. I just reached out to the lawyer that's representing the Navy SEALs who don't want to get the vaccine at Liberty First Liberty, somewhere in the Midwest. That obviously inflation spiraling. We have the supply chain shortage, and trying to think of what else is really going on. Mike Durant is running for Senate, the Black Hawk Down pilot. He's running for Senate in Alabama. So that's, to me, is
good for him.
Yeah, and we know Joe Kent is running in Washington, right? Former Special Forces CIA commando. I like what I'm seeing, and I hope that, right, because none of these guys ever want to run, because let's be honest, like, good people necessarily don't vie for office. It's just, right, it's the Harry Potter paradox, right, where he says people that want power shouldn't have power.
Well, or they have, they have other pursuits. They've had other, jobs and interests, but they're stepping up.
Well, that's what I mean.
The other thing that's happening at the same time is a number of Democrats in various different, constituencies, all the way from Congress on down to local offices, are announcing they're not running again.
I didn't know that.
So, several. So you put these things together, and next year could be very interesting.
It's going to be, and it's what I love about these guys that I listen to, like a Jocko Willing, SEAL Team Commander, Andy Stumpf, SEAL Team 6, David Goggins, Ranger, Navy SEAL. All these guys, is Leif Babin, obviously Dale Comstock, Joe Tedeye, is they all have this thing ingrained into them from training, and it's you don't wait on anyone else to do anything. I mean, it truly is, in a weird way. It's just like the military manifestation of be the change you want to see in the world. But from everything, from like cleaning the barracks to, taking a hill, is like, don't wait on anyone else. Do the thing. You hope you have backup, but you might not. But do the thing that you need, that needs to be done. And I hope that's what we're going to start seeing with political offices. Like, hey, I know Mike Durant, he owns a Pinnacle. He founded and owns Pinnacle Solutions, a very lucrative defense contractor for helicopters. But now he's going for Senate, and he's going to be absolutely smeared and slaughtered. But I hope guys like Jocko or Dale or Goggins or all these guys, they're seeing something needs to be done. And I hope that their kind of aversion to office, slimy politician, I hope that's overcome by, like, no one else is doing that. I know I'm ranting now, but one of the Delta Force guys from from Mogadishu, when he retired, he saw a lot of his friends getting out and having PTSD, and a lot of them returning to Xanax or painkillers and getting addicted to it, and then eventually committing suicide. And I love what this guy did is he went after retiring from Delta, went back to college, went to pharmacy school, and then started researching like the agonists and antagonists and the different receptors. And to me, it just embodied like he just took the fight to a different level. Wasn't young enough to compete with the other like the young bucks in Delta. So just he was like, here's the next battle. How do I help my fellow veterans who are battling PTSD and drug addiction? So kind of tying that all into, I hope we see more of this where they step up
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
go
me
for it.
too.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I know. I love it. But to me, that's always stuck out to me. That one story. I'm like, finished with here. Now go to here. Do what you can with, do what you
Mhm.
can with, do what you can where you are with what you have. But I'm ranting now. People are here to listen to you, Claire Lopez. What most interests you this week?
Well, I mean, you're right. There's so much going on. We could start domestic. We could start overseas. Maybe domestic.
Okay.
Right now, this morning, and now it's into the afternoon here, Eastern time. The Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland, is appearing before the House Oversight Committee, and I haven't listened to all of it, but he's been really put on the spot by some of the Republicans. For example, Representative Jim Jordan out of Ohio. I listened to some of his questions, really putting him on the spot about sicking U.S. national security, FBI, for example, on parents who are at school board meetings sticking up for their kids and the right to be involved in their children's education and opposing the forcible Marxist indoctrination of critical race theory, anything else like it that you want to not call it CRT, but it's still the same thing. And I live in Northern Virginia. And so some of these stories, really hit home. And I'm thinking, for example, of the father in Loudoun County, which is kind of a Northern Virginia county, who is the father of a 14-year-old freshman girl in a high school in Loudoun County. And you and your audience have probably heard about this, but the girl was raped. I mean, violently, viciously raped inside of the girls' bathroom by a boy wearing a skirt, I guess pretending to be transgender or whatever. And the school teachers had to know about it, principal had to know about it, and school board of Loudoun County had to know about it, covered it up, did not report to the police, which is mandatory. They broke the law right there.
I didn't know that.
And moved the boy to another school where he allegedly committed another assault on another girl. So the boy is now in detention finally. But all of these issues coming up, for the Attorney General, and in particular here in my home state of Virginia, where there's a very tight governor's race going on right now. People may know, especially people who live in Virginia, that Terry McAuliffe, the Democrat candidate, was formerly governor of Virginia, did a horrible job, now running again to be governor. And the Republican candidate is Glenn Youngkin. And that race, even taking into consideration the very blue, northern sort of close to Washington, D.C. counties of Northern Virginia, like Fairfax County, Arlington County, Alexandria, those places. And Loudoun is fairly to the north, near in. The race has tightened to an absolute dead heat. I mean, if you follow or, agree,
Sure.
trust the polls, that's what they're saying, that's what they're showing. This is an off schedule, I guess you'd say, election, being in 2021 here this year for Virginia. And the vote will be in just less now than a couple of weeks.
That story about the girl and the boy identifying, I mean, one, if there's not some like remnant or echoes of like the Vatican moving around priests, but man, I mean, that's one thing. Not reporting to the police is that's criminal, but
Yeah.
I found out about it through the Streisand effect because Steven Crowder was suspended from YouTube
Okay.
for a week for reporting it because, quote, it is hate speech directed at the LGBTQ community to report on a woman being raped at school and it being covered up. He was removed from YouTube for a week. And I said it when Clare Lopez, my first YouTube suspension, episode 370, talking about the election. And I said it there. I was like, this isn't going to be the only thing. And then it led to my eventual permanent banning for talking about COVID. And now here you go, just as I called it. The
Yeah.
next
I mean,
thing.
this is crazy. And that poor father, I mean, any man who's a father of a daughter, a young
I can't
daughter,
imagine.
you know, who is violently raped, and then the school, and everybody involved just covers it up. Any normal father is going to be absolutely outraged at this. I'm
Oh
sure the
yeah.
mother is too, but the father's the one who went to a school board meeting in Loudoun County and was so upset, addressing the school board about what happened to his daughter and their culpability in covering it up. And then the police come in and drag him away.
I didn't know
Violently
any of
drag
that.
him away out of the meeting, and he's arrested and charged. I guess disorderly conduct or some such thing. We'll see how that goes. But what father, what decent American red-blooded father would not feel exactly the same way as that man did?
Yeah.
Of course you're outraged when your little girl is violated. So anyway, that is wending its way through courts in different ways now. Obviously, the violating of the law by the Loudoun County School Board, and then whatever is going on with the father. But back to the point, where I started, which was the hearing with Attorney General Garland this morning, and his refusal, arrogant, snide, sarcastic refusal to, answer straight up questions from, of course, the Republicans, because the Democrats aren't going to ask anything pointed, of course, put them on the spot. Anyway, I had enough after a while and I left the TV.
It's the only upside to any of this. And it's although it's the only, it is, I would say, a major upside is this is just getting more, this is kind of shaking more and more people out of a daze. Like you
Yeah, that
can't
is happening.
just, I
Yeah.
mean, like Mike Durant running for office or Joe Kent running for office, that pulls you out of it is, sure, he was pulled away by the cops. There are a lot of people who maybe they didn't say anything, but they're back home right now and they're having this conversation and going, this guy's daughter was raped and he was pulled out, and they're shutting it down. There is a groundswell. I can't point it, and I don't think this is my normal blind optimism. You can't do this stuff without there being repercussions. There's
Oh, it's all
something.
over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, beginning with the fact that parents stuck at home last year and into this year
Yeah.
of 2021 too, finally got a firsthand look
Mm-hmm.
at what their children are being taught as the kids home from school were, doing their distance learning
Yeah.
at a laptop on the kitchen table.
Yeah.
That began it, and I said a long time ago that was, if anything, the little tiny maybe silver lining to that big black cloud of last year.
Yeah.
Parents became aware for the first time of what the kids were being taught, and at the same time, really excellent, I don't know what you'd call them, analysts, reporters, champions of American patriotism and genuine civics education, like Christopher Rufo also James Lindsay at Natural Discourses, Christopher Rufo at his own website, his name, Christopher Rufo.
I'm going to write these down.
Yeah, Christopher Rufo, RUFO.
Okay.
And his website's under his own name.
Okay.
And then James Lindsay, Lindsay, at Natural Discourses, if I've got that right. That's his website. And both of them have done a tremendous job of educating on various news programs at their websites, guest speaking appearances all over the country about critical race theory and about its Marxist identity and origins, and who's pushing it and how it got into our schools so in such a widespread way. So, but parents are now, thanks to them and thanks to their own, in a way, being stuck at home last year and seeing, for themselves on their own kids' computers, what's going on in the schools. Yeah.
You actually said that on, I think like the second episode you and I did. You pointed that out back, March or April, and you were like, they're all watching kind of over the shoulder. Everyone's stuck at home, and you're seeing this, white people are bad type of thing. It's like, people just kind of, what the hell is this? And I would imagine that at first you're like, oh, that's weird, and then you start to see it in everything, and you're like, what is this? What you're learning? And you and I know that's weird, but to a kid being kind of brought up in it, you don't know anything other than that. And it's
but the parents do.
Yes. And that's where you had that clash.
Flooded the school board meetings, first virtually, because some of those meetings were held online, and more recently, as things open up, in person by the hundreds. And I guess, this is what prompted the National School Board Association to collude, and that's the word for it. They colluded with the White House behind the scenes to get the White House to sic the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, against the parents and threaten to unleash the FBI against them for domestic terrorism. That is, being outraged that your children are being force-fed communist propaganda, not violence, outrage, righteous, justified outrage. So people are seeing this, and all over the country, there's a grassroots movement stepping up.
And you might even be able to get away with it if there isn't a at the expense of being hyperbolic or too fantastical, without the rape, the shot heard around the world. Maybe it's terrible. Maybe it's the rape of a girl in the bathroom that all of a sudden it goes from, because if you don't know anything about it, you just see it on the news and you see clips and they go, they hear you and me going, this is Marxist propaganda. And then you see parents yelling. It's very easy to frame them as, well, they're being domestic terrorists. They're yelling. Now you have a child being raped and the father being dragged out. Now it's a lot harder to cover that up. But what you just said about grassroots and kind of what I said earlier about the groundswell, it made me think, I guess we're just going back to all our early episodes. One of the things you said early on was, I was like, it seems like it's all kind of right. A stolen election. They're banning this and it's mandates that and blah, 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 and censorship. And I remember you said, you're like, it seems like it's happening all right now, but you're like, this has been decades in the making. Right. And it's, well, I can only imagine that there's something else that's maybe not decades in the making, maybe only months in the making, but it seems there's a grassroots groundswell that it's going to crash. And I can only imagine there's probably some mirror of this podcast, of a liberal podcast, and they're going to be saying, how did all these Republicans take office? And someone's going to say this was, years in the making. And it feels like that's what it, because you could only cover it up so much. You can only blot it out so much before people who maybe weren't ever involved are now going, I now can't go to my kids, right? Because now you're coming into like the home. Now you're coming into that.
You're coming for the kids. And that's when the mama bears and the fathers realize, perhaps for the first time, just how bad things are. And when, they came for the kids, that's when the parents really began to push back, and they are pushing back all over.
And again, it's horrible, but I mean, if that's what had to happen, then that's what had to happen. And like, let's move forward from here. Right. It's maybe that's what needed to happen. Maybe it starts with, yeah, Tommy got censored from YouTube, but dude, I've known Tommy since 10th grade. He's fucking crazy. Like, it's easy to kind of, throw that out there. And then all of a sudden it's, hey man, Bill's Bill's daughter was raped. Like, oh my God, are you? And then 2 days later, dude, Bill was arrested for talking about. Now it's, do you have a daughter? Do you have a son? How do you feel about this? Not only that, honey, let's go to the school board meeting. Are you sure you want to do that? That is where I believe it would probably come home. But yeah, I mean, it's speaking of kind of all this sea change, I think it was yesterday. Did you see Trump is officially launching his social media website?
Yeah, heard that announcement. Be
Yeah.
interesting to see how that goes.
What is it? It's like TGTP, Trump Media Group and something. It's 4 letters.
Yeah. I forget.
Trump Media and Technology Group, maybe TMTG.
Let me check here.
Yeah, for everyone listening, I think it's getting listed on the New York Stock Exchange. I think it's going to be a publicly held company. Yeah, kind of come right out of the gates. I know it was already valued at 1.7 billion.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, let's find it. Let's pull it up right now for everybody.
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, for everybody listening, you probably think we're unprofessional, and I don't care. This is my podcast. So Claire and I are now going to search for Trump's media group, Trump's social media app, Trump's new social media truth, blah, blah, blah. TGT.
This goes on forever, but TMTG.
Yeah, Trump Media and Technology Group.
TMTG. I guess maybe that's its official trading name for SEC.
Okay, that would be the stock ticker.
Popularly, it's going to be called
Truth Social.
That's it. Truth Social.
Truth Social. And TMTG will be the publicly
traded name. Yeah.
Trump said, I created Truth Social and TMTG to stand up to the tyranny of big tech. We live in a world where the Taliban has a huge presence on Twitter, yet your favorite American president has been silenced. This is unacceptable.
Love that guy.
Love him. He's such a
he'll be back.
He'll be
back. Yeah. He never went away,
No.
He really never went away.
Hey man, it's if you're gonna come for the king, you best not miss. You either gotta kill him or he's back. He's gonna come back.
Well, let's not say that, but
well, no. Hey, shout out to Social Security, or not Social Security, Secret Service. Well, probably the way this communist dictatorship's going, eventually they'll garnish my Social Security. Secret Service. That was taken out of context as a quote. I love Trump, so is Claire. But yeah, that seems to be a thing. And right now we're trying to get Dale Comstock, Delta Force, who's been on here a million times. We're trying to get him to run for office in Florida. And again, that's a guy that despises politicians, despises politics, but he is, youngest ever Delta Force member, was in the CIA for 10 years. Has done everything, worked for the NSA, has done nuclear facility security for, I think, for the AEC, Atomic Energy Commission. I mean, this guy trained by the NSA for classification, how to button up classification of projects. I mean, he is kind of the all-American Rambo, and he's at a point where I'm like, it started as kind of a joke. My buddy David was like, we found out Durant was running, Michael Durant. He was like, when's Dale running? And so I texted Dale. I was like, Dale, when are you running? And he texted me back and he goes, when I get backing. And so I was like, oh, so I texted another guy I know who's got a little bit of coin. And I was like, hey, we need to back Dale. And he kind of was laughing too. And we were like, that would be awesome. And then I think we had the same realization at the same time. Cause a couple hours later, I was like, we're in a post-Trump world. You don't need to be a clean, I'm politician A and I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. It's okay to kind of be brash and coarse. And I think my buddy had the same realization at the same time, because as soon as I was thinking that, he called me and he was like, this might actually be a good idea. And I was like, I was just thinking that, Dale's in Florida. I mean, Dale served in a lot of it classified in 97 countries. Dale was the Modelo prison raid. Dale was on standby for the Black Hawk Down incident. Dale's been in everything. And, he he bleeds for this country. His son is in special forces. He's and people that try to attack him, like, oh, he's some white misogynist. Dale's wife is a black Muslim lady. Like, you can't pull that on him. And he's actually looking at it now. So we've got this whole group kind of actually like brainstorming and seeing, well, how could we do this? Where could he run? But to me, that's another example of just sort of the grassroots nature of this all.
Yeah, no,
right?
a lot of very good people are now getting into politics, whether local, very local level,
Mm-hmm.
on up for Congress.
Yeah. Which now that I've got you right where I want you, when are you going to run for something, Claire?
I'm not.
You can't, but
Politics just not for me.
No, we
Not
just
for
did
me.
this whole thing where we talked about people are stepping up, and I was
I'm so
circling it.
glad to see everybody doing that.
You got to be the change you want to see in the world. God, this was my plan, was to wrap you in this circle of logic and then come back down on you.
I'm behind those guys all the way.
Damn you, Clare Lopez.
Definitely behind.
So kind of some other things. Now and because I always want to, kind of like we talked about, right, with like Mike Lindell, how he was used and people are warning him of this.
Such a shame.
Yeah.
Such a good guy.
Yeah. I always have to be careful for myself to not become the thing I hate. When people scream about Trump's travel ban, but the travel ban, the countries were copy and pasted from the Obama State Department, that list of, right? So little things like that, or build the cages. Well, they were started in 2011, right? So, or Biden, I think yesterday, reinstating Trump's remain in Mexico policy.
Right, because that's a Supreme Court ruling.
Yes.
Legally, he's obligated to do that.
Yes.
He didn't want to, and he avoided it for some time, but
yes,
he has to.
So little things like that, right, where I kind of see my liberal friends kind of, blood boiling, and I'm like, well, if you look just right under the surface, scratch the dirt away, like this is a thing that's not even his. I'm prefacing all of this to say I'm finding myself, and I guess it's making me a better person with better, I guess, civic responsibilities, trying to dig more into what Biden's doing. And am I buying into the fervor, much like my liberal friends kind of made fools of themselves? Am I going, what is this? And it's like, well, this has been here for actually 30 years. What are some things that are happening with the Biden administration? I know this is an open question. How much of these are actual, like, hey, this is really effed up? Try to watch my language more around you. Respect. It's and with Mitzi, I try, with the women, I try to be less of a swearing sailor. What things are actual, hey, this is effed up from the Biden administration? What, like, for instance, like all the ships out of the ports, like, as much as I look at this and I'm like, Biden's ruining the supply chain, I also have to dig a little deeper. I'm like, have I ever paid attention to a supply chain, and like, what is the norm and what is, inflation? And it's like, well, Trump spent several $1 trillion. So what are these inflation and like supply chain disruption or collapse? How much of that's on Biden, and how much of it is like, this happens every year, and this isn't necessarily him? Do you get what I'm getting at? I don't want false anger. Like, is there anything, what is real and what is just being fed to me by Fox News?
So the first thing to understand is that the team that came into office with Biden, again, many of the same people that served previously in the Obama administrations, all of them come into office with a worldview that says America is a force for ill in the world, a negative in the world, power and influence. And they literally morally, I mean, they believe this. They think that they're being the best, the most moral, the most ethical people in the world. They just have to tear America down because we're such a bad influence in the world. This is what they think. I mean, wrap your head around this, because once you understand that, you understand why everything they're doing in office now makes sense. Mm-hmm. Destroy America, tear down the Constitution, tear down our history and our heritage, destroy the economy, look weak and piteous in front of world rogue regimes like Iran's, China's, Russia's. Back here to home, you're talking about inflation, you're talking about the supply chain choke up. The inflation is very much a product of Democrat Party politics. By pumping so many trillions of dollars into the economy last year and now this year, and just madly printing dollars off the printing press like there's no tomorrow, and there won't be if they keep it up. The Democrat Party has instigated the levels of inflation we see now at the gas pump, at the grocery store, across the board. This is on them, and they're still trying to pass more, goodie packages through Congress. Thankfully, at least some Republicans are finding their vertebrae, and a couple of Democrats as well, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, for two, who are saying, hey, wait a minute, this is nuts. This is nothing but a grab bag of goodies for, Democrat Party constituents and supporters. And it's, really not to the benefit of the United States or our economy. So the inflation is very much a product of all of that. The gas shortage, take one element of it, the gas shortage at the pumps, and not shortage, but the inflated prices. That very much has to do with Joe Biden throwing away with both hands the energy independence that President Trump achieved for us during his administration. We were energy independent. Natural gas and oil, largest producers on the face of the earth. And that includes Saudi Arabia and Russia. Moment that Joe Biden got into office, literally the first day, what does he do? He cancels the XL pipeline coming down from Canada through the Dakotas and on down south to the Gulf of Mexico. Canceled. Thousands of jobs destroyed at the stroke of a pen. Equipment lying around on the ground that was supposed to be, for finishing the pipeline, it's just sitting there, rusting away, I guess. That was deliberate. That was a deliberate effort, along with canceling any oil gas extraction from federal lands, like up in Alaska. And that hurled us right back, flung us right back to energy dependence. Mm-hmm. And what do you have now? You've got Joe Biden piteously begging OPEC to pump more oil, to which OPEC says back to Joe Biden, nuts. No, thank you. We're not doing it.
Yeah. And why would they?
Face.
Yeah. Why would they?
So there are different elements to this. Okay. To the supply chain bottleneck, choke up. That's got a lot of elements to it.
It's a lot of pandemic,
part of that
right?
has to do with suppliers, producers in Asia, meaning not just China, but also places like Vietnam and Singapore and Taiwan and many other places, closing things down over this past year and more because they're so terrified of this, virus from which 99+% of people all recover. But they shut down their production. Factories were closed. People were locked down. And so production took a nosedive. And now they are opening back up and trying to ramp back up again, but it's not so easy to just start stuff back up again. And then in the meantime, you've got the United States on our end with all kinds of crazy union favoring measures that the Biden administration now is laying on even worse, particularly California. And there's no substitute for California and its ports like Long Beach when you're talking about trade with Asia across the Pacific. Yeah. Could they do a Columbus and go west? Yeah, they could, and wind up at ports on our East Coast or maybe the Gulf Coast. Or ships could divert and instead of California, go south through the Chinese-owned Panama Canal and then come on up to our Gulf and Atlantic coasts, where, I mean, to his credit, Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida is now offering to ramp up and open up Florida ports even more to receive, some of this shipping and to relieve the pressure there on the West Coast. That's a possibility and a good one. But back to what's the problem in California? A lot of it has to do with stupid, cut off your nose to spite your face policies in California, which have to do with unions, for example, and mountains of red tape and regulations about, for example, trucks. How old can the trucks be? How much, emissions can they be allowed to produce? Or you're not allowed to service the ports. You're not allowed to come, owner operated, for example, rigs. They're blocked. They can't go to the ports and relieve the pressure. They're not allowed. And all kinds of union regulations for the longshoremen, the dock workers, the warehouse workers on the docks. You got to take a nap every 3 hours. You got to be allowed 6 hours for lunch. I'm exaggerating, of course, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
So all of that is contributing at a time, when everything else is piling on, like we talked about the economy, the inflation, and Christmas coming. But who cares about that?
Yeah. Well, what you just said, though, to go back a minute, all these stupid cut your nose off things. I think calling them stupid is giving them way too much credit, and I don't mean that in some snarky, they're dumber than dumb. I think it's more so they know exactly what they're doing, and it's a controlled demolition.
Yeah,
that's what they're not stupid. It's a controlled.
No, I think there's a very definite intent to crash the U.S. economy.
Yeah,
they want to destroy the U.S. Free market capitalist system. That's what they want, because they're communists, they're Marxists.
It's that deep sea. I had on a couple weeks ago Kent Clisby, a CIA veteran, willing accomplices, right? All about active measures and all about all the kind of just the slimy communist Marxist scumbag things they do. But it's all based on, they found the most effective way to like turn people was you don't try to convince them the Soviet Union's good because you go visit it. Like, this isn't that good. It was much easier to convince them America is evil and it is your duty. You're behind the enemy lines. You're in America to bring it down from within. So I look at people like, sure, sleepy Joe Biden. The reality is he's not stupid. You don't get to that position. Sure, you have that.
I mean, and I'm not even really laying this all at the feet of Joe Biden.
Oh, I know that.
He I'm not sure he's quite all there.
No, he's not.
It's decline is
elder
getting worse, but it's the team,
the
and I call
movement.
it a junta around him. That's who's driving this.
The Biden junta.
And those people absolutely are Marxists.
That's what I mean. And I didn't mean to put words in your mouth saying you're saying it's Joe Biden. No, it's this general. I'm calling it. I was using Biden as an example. It's Kamala, whoever. You don't have to like these people. They're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. Vladimir Putin, you don't eat evil. You don't have to like him. Xi Jinping, evil. You don't have to like him. They're not stupid. And that's what I'm getting. So it's when I see things like, oh, you have to have this, or, oh, we're laying off all these cops, we're laying off nurses during a pandemic because they're not unvaccinated. People are like, how stupid can you? It makes a lot more sense if you look at it as these are people that are supposed to be serving America. It's very confusing. You go, why are they doing these things? Versus if you start to switch it and go, no, now look at them as just as a thought exercise. Let's look at them as people who hate America. And all of a sudden you go, oh, this makes perfect sense. This is exactly what you would do. Oh, right. It's like if you see like a
Yeah.
Who was it? The White Sox in like 1919. They threw the World Series, right? They
I don't
purposely.
know. I wasn't around then.
Me neither, but I know because they were called like the Black Sox that year. They threw the World Series. They all bet on it, and then they purposely lost. And if you're looking at this team who made it to the World Series, and all of a sudden no one knows how to do anything, at you look at it, you go, are they stupid? This makes no sense. And now in hindsight, you go, well, now imagine that they are all financially gaining greatly from them losing. You go, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So when you see all these things in the world, not you, but anyone listening, when you see all
Shift your
these,
worldview.
yes, when you see all these things, you go, how stupid could they be? Flip it. If you were to bring down the United States, how would you do it? Oh, I would say they're doing it quite brilliantly. So, but
I
yeah,
mean, at the same time, mind you, that millions and millions of people from all over the world, you mentioned 150 or something plus countries they're coming from, are risking life and limb,
yes,
losing their lives many times to get into the United States,
the evil
which,
empire.
yeah, I mean, this does not compute.
Yeah.
They know that this is the best last hope of mankind on earth. They know that the free market capitalist system offers more opportunity, more prosperity to people than any other system anywhere else in the world now or ever before. They know that.
Yeah.
And our leadership junta knows that too, but their hatred overcomes it all and they want to destroy it.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was with some friends a couple weeks ago, and you know, it was strictly all love each other, but it was strictly divided between, you know, very much love America, I think it's the best place, and the whole this place is evil. And the latter kind of said, and it's true because I have never left the United States. They say, you know, the people that love America the most and think it's the best place are the ones who have never spent any time anywhere else. And admit it, I haven't spent any time anywhere else, and I'd be open to me doing that and seeing how my worldview changes. I'm open to that. But
I have been all over the
well,
world,
that's
except for Asia. I've not been to Asia yet, but maybe we'll fix that soon.
yeah,
All over the world. I can tell you, this is the best place in the world. And we are incredibly fortunate to be born Americans.
well, and that's what I was going to shift to is like, okay, sure, let's take that argument. I need to spend more time at. Well, I do have two friends. Ivan Georgiev, who I was working security with at a bar in 2011. We've been friends for about a decade now. He is from Sofia, Bulgaria. He just recently became a United States citizen after a decade of a green card. He's a 6'4". He's the most handsome man in the world. He looks like a Greek god. Lives in Las Vegas. Professional bodybuilder now. Pretty sure he just bought like a 6-figure Benz. Like girlfriend. Like, and he grew up in a tiny one-room apartment with his parents in a former Soviet
Well, you
bloc
know, I spent 2 years over there
in
and
Bulgaria.
have
Oh yeah,
returned many times since to visit.
we have talked about that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So let's take that logic of those who spend time at the U.S. outside of the U.S. You know, if you love America so much, wait until you go outside the U.S. Well, let's look at someone who has spent all of his life outside of the U.S. What did he do? He came here. I remember when first meeting him, he couldn't speak a word. Told me, how are you doing? And he wouldn't know etiquette.
English
He
is
would,
tough.
but yeah, he would just come up to me and like he would grab my arm and he'd be like, "You have good definition. You need diet more." And I'd be like, "Who the hell are you?" But I love him. His English is perfect now. And another one, an even more extreme example, is Prince Blakosh from Kosovo. His father was a journalist during the Serbian War. Prince's earliest memories is he remembers Marines outside of his house as a show of force because his father was a journalist and the Serbians broke both his arms and his legs and left him on the front lawn for publishing stories about torture or like mass graves or something. And Prince remembers very early on, like the Marines were sent to stand around his house as sort of a show of force, like, hey, don't fuck with them. And Prince, I remember meeting Prince working security at the same place in 2014. Prince couldn't speak a word of English, but he would work back-to-back shifts, and then he would go work back-to-back shifts somewhere else. The hardest working guy I know. My parents were like, bring him over to the house. So we brought him over, and Prince was taking pictures for Instagram of our refrigerator because it was full. And he was, you know, like I would take a picture in front of like a mansion and be like, look at this place. Prince was taking pictures with peace
The
signs
refrigerator.
next to stock deli meat. And I just remember like it sucking the air out of the room. And we were all like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So and my family loves Prince. And Prince finally got his green card and then his citizenship. And he's he's in Manhattan as a physical therapist, raising a family. English is
Wow.
perfect. Here are these two
Wow.
examples of guys who have spent their whole lives out of the United States, and they left everything, parents, brothers, sisters, cousins. And it wasn't easy. They talk about how much they miss them. They
Yeah.
came here because they knew that this is where it happens. And if
The
you
American dream.
and do
And
you
they're
ask,
living it now.
yeah, and you go on their Facebook and anything, zero hesitancy, shame. It's all just American flags and Trump. And it's like, listen, sure, I have grown up here. So let's take the example of the guys that didn't. They are even more into this than I am. So
Yeah.
that's back to what you're saying. These people that think we're this evil empire. Well, everyone else from around who knows? Maybe we are. But then I would argue the rest of the world is an even more evil empire, because why do they all still come here? Why do they come here? Are they all white misogynist racists? Is it? Or is it maybe that your worldview is wrong and that we do live in the best nation on earth?
But you see, they
all of its
don't care that their worldview is wrong. And they may not even think about it in those terms, but they are communists, they are Marxists,
Yeah.
and the number one objective,
Destroy
if you
America.
read Karl Marx, is destroy. Just destroy everything.
Yeah.
It's nihilist, it's purely nihilist. And it's not even about, I've got a better vision to rebuild America after and make it, the land of all of our dreams. No. They sell that line of a utopia to the the gullible masses, but they know it's not true. I mean, what it's actually about
power
is those elites, those tiny minority of elites intend to destroy everything else, subjugate everybody else, seize power for themselves, and then live a life of luxury and wealth, like Fidel Castro, who died a multimillionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's not about destroy America because it's evil and bad and we're going to build something better. No. It's pure nihilist, destroy it all. We'll take charge, and then we'll live off the subjugated, the transferred property, the redistributed property of the masses. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And it's me looking at a nice apartment building and going, we got to tear it all down. I'm going to build something better. And then amongst the rubble and everyone's sleeping under tents, I go, all right, now you're my subjects. It's sold on that, right? The useful idiots. It's right. The SA, the brown shirts, once you come to power, what do? You kill them all. You kill the revolutionaries because they're the ones that were able
or the black shirts, as the case may be for communism.
Yeah. You have the ones that overthrow it for you, and then you kill them because they're the ones most capable of overthrowing things, right? You take out, it's the lion taking out the sun because that's going to be the one who usurps it. It's black souled nihilism. There's no, how do we make it better? It's destroy it all. No. It's
not about that at all.
Yeah.
That's a narrative. That's the propaganda.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah. As the comedian Ray Kump said, and Ray's a super liberal guy, but he goes, for everyone that wants to pull apart the system and set up socialism or communism, he goes, do you not think that the guys who rose to power in this system, the defense contractors, the bankers, do you not think those same cunning guys aren't going to rise to power in this new system? But in this new system, there won't be checks and balances. They're just going to be truly unleashed. It's going to be that much worse. It's still going to accumulate in the top 0.1%. At least we live in a society where the top percents battle at each other and we all reap the benefits from improvements, versus it's right now it's multiple factions battling against each other. When it's just one faction, it's just them against the rest of us. And that's where you get Big Brother. That's where you get the pyramid. That's where it's infuriating, but I've now talked myself into it.
On that cheery note. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the good news is that our founding fathers bequeathed to us a system that really does work. Like you said, a system of checks and balances, which are out of whack now. Yeah.
Sure.
But the system is still there. The Constitution is still there. People who recognize the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, still there. And the grassroots are rising up, as we mentioned a bit ago. They realize that what's at stake now is the Republic, the Republic itself. Ben Franklin, what kind of government have we got? A republic, madam, if you can keep it.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people in this country now who are determined to keep it. They didn't realize the danger, the creeping danger, maybe over a period of decades even.
Sure.
But they're waking up now, beginning maybe just last year, kind of late, but waking up nevertheless, coalescing, organizing, and well, they don't want to be communist.
Yeah.
They don't want to be Marxist.
Yeah.
And they're beginning to understand what those things mean, which they did not before. And now they do.
They're not they're not buzzwords. It's
no, they really now realize what that's about. Not in tremendous detail, but they get it. They know what it's about because they're feeling it.
Yes.
And they don't like it. We don't like it. And so stay tuned, because I think we're smack in the middle of a battle for the Republic, and it's not all going the direction of the bad guys.
No, it's not. And it's, as I've been blindly optimistically saying forever, but now I think there's actually some basis to it. And but I know we got to wrap it up, but real quick is what you just said is now it's coming home. You see it as, again, you see it on the news, Marxist this, and this, all right, whatever, you got to go get dinner. Now when it's I can't go to my kid's school board meeting.
Can't afford dinner.
Yes, you can't afford dinner. Or now I can't go to my kid's school board meeting, and now I can't question these things at the FBI. And I just lost my job as an EMT because I wouldn't get an experimental vaccine. Well, can I go look up everything's been banned about it. How do I question the banning of it? Now you're seeing what it is for the mask has fallen off. There's no makeup on it. It's just the black face of control, of power, of nihilism, of self-hatred. You are evil. You are nothing. Hate yourself. And versus America for, yes, all of its flaws. And you start to go, oh, it's not perfect. God damn, it's better than anything else. Right?
Anything else out there that I've ever seen.
God, is this phone perfect? No. Look at anything else, man. Look at a walkie-talkie or an old CD player. I go, oh, you know what? I'll take the phone. The phone's pretty good. That's what it is. But stay tuned, because we are in the battle for the Republic. And Clare Lopez, as always, I'll put your Twitter, your websites, everything in the description.
Thank you.
I'm also going to hunt down to those two guys, Furo, and I got their names down. I'm going to try to get them on. Thank you so much. God bless America. God bless you, Clare Lopez. God bless everybody listening. Stay safe. Do the right thing. Let's go, Brandon. So